43%. That is the percentage of action we proceed out of habits every day. Again, 43%. That is the percentage of action we proceed every day. So that is almost half of our daily action. So half of the action we do over our life. So for that reason, because most of our action are automatic, it is important to know how to control and have the power on our habits to build good ones and quite bad ones. But first, I'll tell you why does habit matter and what's a habit in fact. We can define a habit as a behavior that we do, that we repeat over a certain amount of time, and that at a certain point became automatic. It is often, the habits often settle in our life without us even to notice it, and we let them settle in our life because we think that they're worth repeating. So how do they work? First comes the trigger, because most of habits are triggered by a contextual or environmental cue that can be very broad and vast, such as the time, the environment, the color, the smelling, your personal mood, the context, and so on. There's a lot of triggers. And after that comes the behavior that at first isn't a habit, it's just an action that is triggered by something. And before, while, and after the action, the reward system release chemical molecules that makes you feel well. And according to it, you'll say if you want to do it again, to repeat it. And if you do so over a certain amount of time, over repetitions, it will then feel automatic. You will no longer think of it. That is because our brain react differently depending on whether the situation, the action is familiar or not. And another sign that you had another habit, a new habit, it's when you associate it with the trigger, the cue. So let's look now at all the benefits of good habits. According to a 2020 study, we in average have 6,000 thoughts per day. So of course it is a bit difficult to define what's a thought. It is a number, a sentence, a flashback. But if we trust it, then knowing that every decision, every thought has an intellectual cost, that means that all the energy you put in deciding whether you want to eat, for example, outside or not, is the energy you don't put in your targets, in your goals, whether it is building relationships or building a project. Now, on the long term, if we consider just reading a book for only 30 minutes per day, and over a year, you would have read more than 150 hours, even if you take some weeks off. And you will have received a lot of benefits, such as learning new things, seeing progress, and also probably like to read. Now, on the conscious, if you would have done it in once in a day, more precisely in 150 hours, you won't have any benefits. You will feel tired, you won't have learned anything, you won't see any progress, and because you will, you won't have any benefit, you will hate it, you won't do it again. So habits are also a strong tool to help us go into the direction we want to go and to stick with our goal. So how to build them? If you want to build habits, you have to keep something in mind, as that to build habits, your environment is stronger than your willpower. So if you want to hit the gym, discipline isn't enough. you can, to help you, build a cue. So say the night before the very day, you prepare your outfit for the very day. So this way, the very day you hit the gym. When you see the outfit, you associate this cue with hitting the gym. And to help you, you can also multiply the cues. So instead of just preparing your outfit, you can prepare your outfit, but a specific outfit, and for example, only orange outfits. You can do 10 squats in the morning. So this way, 10 squats equal hitting the gym. You can write somewhere. You can take a shower. The point is just to associate a lot of things to the habits. So this way, if you don't hit the gym, but do all the cues, you will feel something's going wrong, something's awkward. Then if you feel that is too hard, I can give you two advices. The first is that you want to reward yourself. Because at the beginning, of course, it is hard. As I said, your brain would understand the fact of hitting the gym differently with it is something new at the beginning, or familiar, so over repetitions. So at the beginning, to make it easier, reward yourself. If you hit the gym 2 hours straight, and if you felt like it was difficult, just take a break. You can go outside, have a lunch with your friends, and spend some money. Now, a second advice I can give you is to lower the intensity, if needed, of course. If you just start hitting the gym, you want to do it 7 days per week, 3 hours straight per day. What you have to do is to start slowly, start with a small amount. So let's say once a week, 30 minutes. And if you feel that it's too easy, you can gradually up the amount of time and intensity. But the point is just to start too small, very small, and so you can state how difficult you want each day to be, and you coherently, gradually, consistently increase the amount of work. And of course, the point is also to enjoy the process. So I encourage you to write things down on a paper or on a digital tool to see all the progression you've done, and that is what would make it easier, because it is always enjoyable to see your progression. So remember, habits are a very strong tool to help you build good projects and stick to what actually matters to you. And to build them, you have to keep something in mind, and that your willpower isn't as strong as your environment. Thank you for watching this video. For a reminder, I am a learner, and so if you have any advice concerning the pronunciation of the use of certain words, feel free to express your mind and to advise me anything.